Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody.
What's up, guys?
Welcome to the 117th Recovery Freedom Rising podcast. I'm Milan Starcic with co-hosts Andrew Norman and Brandi S. Today's topic is positive thinking. Can you share what this means to you, Andrew, and why you're happy to discuss this here today, even without power?
I would love to, and I'm so excited right now.
Hey, are
I
you
thought I wasn't
admitting
even-
you're powerless and that your life is unmanageable?
That is
I'm
happening
admitting
right now.
today.
That's
Yes, right
happening.
now in the current moment, I'm super powerless in all ways of the word. So I'm super excited now because I didn't think I was going to be able to be a part of this, but cooler heads prevail, and I am. So this is really exciting for me. It's not just about being happy, right? We can say we're happy all we want. This is about, slapping a smile on any situation, but this is about learning how to shift our mindset so that, you don't just stay in that negative rut, man. We, we were stuck. I'll keep it on me, man. I was a negative dude because, if I didn't have my chemicals in my body, I wasn't loaded. I wasn't really a part of anything. I really wasn't coming to the show. I wasn't arriving. I wasn't there. I was the maybe man in active addiction, man. They literally called me the maybe man because it was like, all right, you said you might be there. Well, you ain't gonna be there. So, but yeah, it's about getting out of that negative spot that we usually find ourselves in, and that familiar chaos we talk about all the time. We're so familiar in chaos as an addict. We really don't know what peace is until we come in here and we start seeing peaceful people. And me specifically, I would get upset seeing all these peaceful ass people in these meetings. And
Right.
looking back at it now, it's because I wanted that. I wanted that in my life, and I didn't have that, and I didn't know how to get that. And then when you start learning these things, like you got to keep it, you got to give it away, all these little things that you hear, and then you wonder why, you realize why they're giving it to us when we get in these rooms. And it's a really, really special feeling when you realize that this whole wheel is spinning on that notion of like, they want to help me out, and I am the most important person at this meeting as a newcomer. When we see somebody that's brand new in our meetings, the floodgates open, the love, the hope, it's just a really, really beautiful thing. It's very organic. It happens at all of our meetings when we get one or two people in there, and it really just hypes up the meeting, and it really puts a little bit of another level of excitement in that meeting. And so it's about making a conscious effort to choose to see the good, even when everything seems bad. Right. Even when everything is coming down on us, we're trying to see that good in every situation and not focus on the bad, and making that decision in my life to not look back from this disease, that wanted me to drown. I mean, my disease wanted me to drown in that despair, and so it helps me foster resilience, motivation, a sense of hope, helping to navigate challenges and setbacks while staying committed to my goals. It's a constant uptick, right? If I'm staying positive, increased motivation and engagement, enhancing resilience and coping skills, reduces risk of relapse. And I got a lot of great things written down, improved mental and physical health, stronger connections, stronger social connections. How do I do that? Is I practice gratitude. I practice gratitude. I seek to talk to other individuals about their, and get that back and forth going. I surround myself with positive people, no more of that negative people, nobody doing drugs, and I engage in enjoyable activities today, finally. I'm not just doing something to keep the batteries going. And then I seek for professional help if I need to. There's no sense in not seeking professional help if you're in a real negative rut, and these rooms just aren't doing it for you, and you need a little bit something extra. So pass that to you, Brandi, and love you both.
I love you. I was super excited about this topic also because I am a naturally such an optimistic person. Like I said, like I came in on a hot pink cloud, not a pink cloud, hot pink.
Hot pants,
And
pink.
that's right. And I love it because if, just to break it down in a sense, like the positive of things, like, and it's not to deny the negative things or the things that aren't positive. You don't just go about and, denying that, but it's all about a different way of looking at it, a perspective and a perspective that will get you that much further. And if not, at least get you going that much further. And, to be the opposite of that negative, like our words are powerful. They really are. So it's one thing, like I could go about and even, speak optimism and positive thoughts and be dealing with something bad, but it does make a big difference. It really does. It's my self-worth is front and center when I'm positive. Like the fact that I want to engage and learn things is front and center when I'm thinking positive. I can't think of anything negative when I'm in a positive mindset because, it's like, it's what's the alternative? I could be like, I think we talked about it before. Like, I could tell you how awesome a pile of shit is. I could convince you of that because I'm going to look at it at a different angle than you.
It's warm.
And
Hey, it's warm. Hey.
it is warm. Yes. Thank you. And, it's something that some people need to practice it. Not everybody, it's if you come in here and you are feeling like you're a negative person, give yourself a chance to see positivity in things. It's just a beautiful angle at it. And it's helped me in hard times when when I struggle on where I'm at or what I'm doing or, an argument or anything like that. I'm just going to look at this in the most positive way that I can. And it's pulled me out of negativity plenty of times because I am very optimistic, but I am human. I could definitely go down the route of negative thinking. And but positive, that's what saves me every time. It's a good thing to practice. I think after a while, you just naturally look at things in a different way. And like it's something that I try to pour on to other people also. I had somebody tell me they were a pretty negative person. And I was like, well, I'm gonna end up annoying you with my positivity. So if you think you're gonna annoy me with your negativity, touche. Like
Infectious.
I
Get
don't know
ready.
how to give any answers except for like the positive ones,
Yep.
and it's not lies. It's all about, how you're gonna look at it. How do you choose to look at this right now? And have there's so many angles to it and so many good questions. And I'll leave
They
it there
come back
though.
tomorrow, I'll probably be acting the same way.
Yeah,
Come on, see me tomorrow. Come on. It's
man,
cool.
yeah, it definitely helps me up here big time.
I love both of those intros there, and for me, I was stoked for this. Like I was like hot pants pink for this, damn straight.
Yeah.
I got, one of the first things I thought of right when that topic flew out was just the sign that I've talked about from the treatment center that was across from me, that which we focus on becomes greater. You
Mm.
know, and recently listening to that Untethered Soul there by Michael Singer, and he speaks about you know we're all going to have like this negative dialogue in our head, and the trick in life is, much like our character defects, that we're not going to fight against that, but
Mm.
what we do is we start implanting, surrounding that with positive thought. And then eventually that positive thought takes over. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, voila, you're thinking more positively. It's just like filling the spaces with positive, and
Yeah.
it really does work. And a few of the things, I'm definitely, going to bring up a question about affirmations with you guys later. That's something that has been part of my positivity story, and prayer, gratitudes. There's so many things that we can do to turn our own inner dialogue around.
Hmm.
Because I'll tell you, when I came into the program after, months and months of lack of sleep and drugs and that, there wasn't a very positive dialogue happening at that point. And I think that anybody coming into the program, you're going to need a certain amount of self reprogramming.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
kind of like, remember when the sky was actually just blue and beautiful, instead of
Yeah.
like complaining about every weather. It's too hot,
I'm
it's too
looking for
cold, it's too
unicorns.
windy, it's raining. Like, and
Yeah.
so I'm really hoping that we're going to go on a positive journey, because that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. Here we
I'm
go.
excited. I got a lot to
Andrew.
say.
So, yeah, we'll start it off then. So how has Brandi, I'm going to come to you. How has positive thinking changed the way that you deal with challenges in recovery?
Definitely it makes challenges in recovery like I feel like I can go through them. I can like what am I trying to say? Not go through them. I can address them. I couldn't think of the word. I can address them and like go in it with realistic thoughts also, because just
There's
being
a second
positive
layer
doesn't
to this
mean
question too. When did you first realize the power of your attitude in that recovery too? I'm sorry, I meant to layer that up.
no,
I'm
you're
so
okay. You're
sorry.
okay. You're okay. Um, but it was like, well, I'll answer that too. I think that for me, it was almost right away after I went into my first meeting and I say it like this because it is how I thought, like, why are these bitches laughing? Like we're in treatment right now. Do they not know
No,
what's going
that
on?
hall is named after me and my family. Yeah,
Yeah,
right there.
right. Yeah, that's that bitch. That my family built that. And and until I like, I really had to to break down the walls and because I went in there fully negative thinking. Like I thought I was a piece of shit. They do some like, questionnaire and I got a high score, which is not good for that one. Like I went in there like I didn't want to take my own life, but I wanted everything else to happen. Like I didn't want to be a part of nothing. I was not worthy and my positive personality was covered in that negativity. So like you were saying, instead of inserting good, I was inserting bad, and all of a sudden I didn't know how to be positive. And once I realized that that I was an addict, I wasn't a piece of shit. I'm not a piece of shit. None of us are. We're sick. We have a disease. Not a moral deficiency.
Yeah.
And that's when the positivity started to grow back in me again. Like, 1 day clean, 2 day clean. Like, what? What? This is awesome. This is so awesome. And that's really when I started riding that fluorescent pink cloud because I wanted to be, I still had a lot of mess to clean up when I got home. That's for sure. But right then and there, right in front of me, I was starting to feel that positive thinking again. Like I really never thought I could be clean or I wanted to be clean. I just had tried so many times and took it back like it was not successful. But granted, I was in a treatment center, but my thinking was going positive, and it felt like such a refreshing thought again. And so when it comes to tackling things that are uncomfortable or hard or stressful or could be damaging to my recovery, I always think positive by first of all thinking about where I was, where I could have been if I didn't do something, where I was going, and then gratitude fills it up too. And in reality, like anything can go bad if you I mean it's being positive isn't necessarily a superpower, but it is very powerful. So if you were just waiting for the bad to happen, it's probably not going to turn out that good for you. So to be able to go into a positive and know no matter what, I tried. Even if this doesn't go the way I want it to go in the end, I know that I tried and I'm not going to I'm not going to put myself in a spot where I'm going to walk away regretting it. And that's one thing this program showed me is I'm willing to learn things. I'm willing to be wrong. If I can learn something that's going to help me towards my goal or my morals and where I want to be. So I think that just trying to look at it, even if you have to get out of your own thoughts as if you were out of body and look at it in a different way. Because some people are just naturally negative. So maybe I should just look at this how I normally don't look at it, and see it. And it's beautiful. It really is. Makes things like I can tackle them way easier than when I first came in here and I again just thought I was a piece of shit. And so that's my answer.
Brandi, you're
The
giving me a
old,
perma smile.
the old
That was
George
beautiful.
Costanza, just do the opposite of what you
Yeah.
think.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. That's beautiful, man. I'm sitting here like I can't stop smiling because it's a beautiful, beautiful point. To like, and it's kind of like how the step work. We kind of work on the things we're really bad at. We practice being early if we're late. Practice telling the truth if we're liars.
Yeah.
It's kind of comes full circle. It's beautiful. Are you right? Are
Yeah.
you ready, Mr. Milan?
I'm ready.
How has positive? This is a two-parter. So how has positive thinking changed the way you deal with challenges in recovery? And when did you first realize the power of that attitude shift?
It was something that I had sort of gotten into, kind of actually pretty heavily during a period where I white knuckled it, back in like 2020. I had that, 18-month period there where I stopped, but I was white knuckling it, no program, but I was doing a lot of affirmations. I was writing out a solid page of affirmations. I stopped at one point. I think I got sick and I was tired in the mornings, didn't do it. I started again about a month later, and within 3 days, all the affirmations I was writing started coming true in my life like that. So much that my daughter got the first line of the affirmations tattooed on her arm. She was like, "This is
Love
crazy,
that.
mystical stuff happened here, Dad." Like, and so that to me showed something right there, you know. And what I realized at that point is oh gosh, I'm gonna blow my whole affirmation section. But the thing was for me was that I realized at that point that affirmations are actually just like prayer. It's just like repeating
Yeah.
prayer. Like affirmations are literally praying positive things to yourself. And so coming into the program, like I sat down at the treatment center, and there was we kind of faced this board of walls in like a U shape, and so I started facing that sign right away, and so I was really trying to look at recovery and not look at addiction, you know, and that was to me that was a positive thing, because
Mm-hmm.
in my addiction I just never thought about it like looking at being clean versus about stopping using. Like that was a big mind shift for me. That was
Wow.
super successful for me personally. Like it's like you literally are feeding the addiction by thinking, I don't want to use today. Like literally that thought. If you are thinking about the drugs, even in a negative sense, you are feeding your addiction. And I didn't see it as that. And so, it's kind of like, I was saying about what that guy said from the Untethered Soul, where, I could either, even if the drug thought popping up, but as long as I'm like, I need to exercise. Okay, I got to do some reading. Got to do some step work. Like, what am I filling my mind with in that positive growth set, right? It's all about that. So it really started happening big time for me in treatment center, but I've been kind of carrying that on in my own life, and then right around the time of the Great Resurrendering in March 2025. That was kind of also when I met that one lady, Laura, and she does a really good job at expressing gratitude, even for the struggles that are going on in her life. And that gratitude in every circumstance is exactly it is like the action move of kind of keeping a positive mindset,
Mm.
because it's like what it can, like when you're going to that dark place, it's like, whoa, why are you going there? Okay, well, now we need to reframe our gratitude, and that'll reframe the direction we're going.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I don't
That's
even know
beautiful.
if I was on the question, but
No.
that was what it
No,
took
that
me
was
to.
great.
Hell yeah.
I like it.
That was beautiful. That's the shit we look for right there, Milan.
Right?
Thank you, man. I love you, man. I love you so much. So how do I um what is my two-part question? So how has positive thinking changed the way I deal with challenges in recovery? And when did I kind of first realize, that attitude shift and the power of it? Well, I was coming in here when I first came in here, um, because I'm a pretty positive dude, right? If y'all meet
Hmm.
me, I try to stay pretty positive. I'm kind of the hype beast in army.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
the hype beast, right? And God, I'd rather like laugh than cry, right?
Oh yeah.
That's my whole thing. Like there's a lot of people that I know, and that whether it's at my workplace or just people that I know that really like to stay negative, man. And that's a mindset that they're in. You know, um,
Hmm.
as it relates to the recovery thing, it was about 90 days. I remember because I was just sitting in meetings. I was going to several meetings a day just to try to keep my ass together. And I referenced just this in general a lot, but there was a specific meeting that I was at, and there was a gentleman sharing about how he was trying to get his kids back, was trying to hold on to the place that he was living in. I think his the mother of the kids had passed away, you know, and he was coming out of hard times, man. And the whole time he shared about it, there was this gratitude in his voice that I couldn't like not listen to it. And you know, when you hear somebody talking about something like that, like I feel what they're saying. I don't really hear what they're saying almost. I feel their passion. I feel their emotion. Like I'm feeling it right now, the way I felt that day. And he was so grateful, right? Just to be like alive and in that position. And he was in such a worse off position than I was. Like everything, physically, mentally, like he was just not in a good place. But there was this calmness in his voice. And it was like it changed everything for my day. Like I was in a bad spot that morning. That was right around when I was getting this new job, and I've talked about this a lot lately. You know, it was right in that hairy area where I was ready to say, "Fuck you guys, fuck this thing, all this shit, man. I can't do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm trying to pray, and it's bouncing back, hitting me in the face. Like I don't understand what y'all are doing here. I can't get with it, you know." And he brought me to tears, man, because it's just, you know, there's some kind of people. Some people can just deliver something that really sits with you. You know, whether that's God speaking through that man, you know, I take that as that, you know, God was speaking through that dude that day. And my sponsor was there that I had just got, and I remember him like afterwards talking to me and being like, you know, what's up, you know, and he's like, why do you keep sharing? Because I remember sharing just negative shit, you know, like I don't really, you know what's going on, but he was making me share, so I was sharing. And he said something to me about like being real doesn't mean you have to be negative, right? Like you can share like life and like your truth and speak life, and you don't, it doesn't have to be negative. You know, you can, you know, I know you want to be a positive person, so try to speak through that. And this, it was the way that he talked to me about that. And I had talked to the gentleman that shared that day because it was a local home group of mine, and it kind of changed my perspective where like you can make yourself miserable or you can make yourself strong. Like it's the same amount of work. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna work yourself probably just as hard being miserable, if not harder. And then when you get to that miserable place, like you don't got a leg to stand on. Like let's work ourselves into miserable places so we can die, like or just be more miserable. Like at least we're working ourselves to a positive and a strong place. Like we're working ourselves to stand on something strong, right? We're something positive, something that can have some buoyancy to it. And so I really just lean into it, man. I feel the emotions in these rooms. I give into this process, and I trust this process, man. It
Yeah.
works. You know what I mean? We've got books, we've got literature. It's worked for hundreds of thousands of people, if not more.
For
And there
decades.
were people that used to die. Look, 50 years ago, there were people meeting in the woods, getting killed to hear this message. Literally getting killed. They were killing people, throwing them in jail because it was a group of drug addicts just meeting, and they thought that they were scheming on doing bad shit because they were a bunch of drug addicts. They just wanted to stay clean. They just wanted to hear a message, you know. And so it's just the way it's come full circle, and how we have, you know, pushed through that as human beings, and come through that trying time and still stay together as a fellowship. It's amazing.
It
And so
is.
yeah, it really keeps me positive because, bro, I could be sitting in a jail cell, like I said, you know, trading my deodorant for a fucking movie later. You know what I mean? Like, because I haven't seen a movie in 2 years, right? Like, the fuck out of here, man. So that's just, you know, that's how I mean, it took me back. I remember, like, I physically, when I was telling that story, it was like it was like that day for me. That's what this thing
Still
does
feel
for
it.
me, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So I'll pass that to
Yeah.
you, Brandi. To ask
You
a
got a
question,
question
Milan.
for
All
me,
right.
Brandi?
I do. I do. All right. Okay. Can um, physical health affect our ability to maintain a positive mindset?
100%. I mean, I'm the first guy who says, you know, if I don't sleep right, I'm a jerk face. But also, if I don't eat right, you know, like eating crappy food puts me in a crappy mood. You know,
Yeah.
it really, really does. And then, you know, the combination, like moving and exercise releases endorphins. Like it literally makes you happier to move. And so, like, I'm just like Forrest Gump in my way around the world here these days. All my friends are like, they're like, dude, you fucking turned it into
He's
Forrest
like, I
Gump.
only walked 300 miles this morning, not 500. I'm so upset, man. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, I've done an average of 19.7 kilometers per day for the last month. So that's pretty, that's a lot. That's
Yeah.
like a half marathon, pretty much, almost.
Slightly worried
Wow.
about you. Slightly worried about you.
Yeah.
I'm slightly loving it, so it's okay. You can worry all you
That's
like.
great.
But
Is there a runner's high? Is there a walker's high? Like there's a runner's high. They say it's close to sex.
My sponsor, she's a runner, and that's her
It's real?
meditation. That's her go. Yeah, it's
Yep.
real. It's real.
Oh yeah, like dude,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when I'm talking about endorphins coming from exercise, like it for sure happens. It for sure happens. Like
Yeah.
I go out and I'm coming back and I'm just elated. Like, you know, last year, in February, not this February, the one before, I tore my meniscus in my right knee, and I couldn't walk. I couldn't go down the stairs. I was like, all of a sudden, I felt like my health was going backwards. It was really hard to feel positive at that point.
Mm.
It was so hard, you know, and I really had to like just like catch myself, like holy crap, man, you know, because physical disabilities are like, you know, first they stop you from doing what you want to do,
Yeah.
and then you know, then start sinking into like, man, I can't do anything. Like the mindset starts changing, and then you know, honestly, like it's almost like a negative jealousy occurs at people who aren't. You know, like you're like, man, you and your stair climbing,
Yeah.
you senseless stair climbing.
You and your dumb Nordic track.
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah.
and part of, and so you know, but part of health problems really for me have been a lot of the long term effects of using and smoking. You know, like couldn't take full breaths, memory impaired, you know, stagnation in my body, making it harder to even start exercising. You know, like I forever will be impaired mentally from the drugs. Like there's an amount of memory and cognitive impairment that I know just from looking at things when I'm talking to people, when I'm trying to do things with reading and writing, like there is mental damage, you know? And but that though, like honestly, there, you know that saying, ignorance is bliss?
Yeah.
Like I've got some really dumb friends who are super happy. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm not,
I used to live by that. I used to live by that. But
That's
it's
like, but
I was
it's
using.
true. Like, if
Yeah.
you're so, but okay. So now here's the philosophical version of that, right? It's like, don't clutter your head with information you don't need, and you can have a more peace and serenity in your moment, and you can be
I like
more
that.
positive, you know? Like I don't put on the news. I'm like, you know,
Yeah, I
if,
don't
if
either.
something's happening in my town,
Me neither.
someone will tell me right in front of my face, but I do not want that negative barrage all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I see so many people who are watch the news and they have anxiety from it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you stressed about something that's happening in Uruguay? Like, you know,
Yeah.
like, you're never going there. We have no relatives there. In fact, how many of your products today are Uruguayan? Like, you know, it's just it's absolutely ridiculous to be so stressed about everything going on everywhere else. And so for me, it's just like I shut that off. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know it because so much of it is just put out there to provoke that fear or anxiety. And I'm not playing that game. I want to actually enjoy my day, live a positive life, maybe think about prayer. And man, today was like a 2-song day. You want to talk about positive thinking? I was like,
No, he
Yeah.
didn't.
those
No, he
songs
didn't.
today were great. They were great,
Oh,
man.
man,
5 seconds.
man. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I like it.
That's awesome.
I like
That's
it.
awesome. Yeah, like people ask me, they're like,
That's
"Yeah, do you hear
great.
about the riots and all that stuff?" But I'm like, "No, I don't. I don't like. Do
That's where
you?"
my ignorance is bliss stays.
Mhm.
Is that I get fed the news, my husband will watch it sometimes and he'll say some things and I pretend I know what he's talking about because if
Oh,
it's not a big deal, like it's conversation. Yeah,
I
I don't
can't
want to know
remember
about
the
it.
last time I've ever watched the news or even any kind of news,
At my
anything. Like,
grandparents' house, I think I did.
I get my weather on my phone, and
Mm-hmm.
then that's about it's about my day. That's all I
Yeah.
need. So
I even actually
Yeah.
stopped worrying about the weather. Like I was just like, you know what? If it rains on me, I'm getting wet. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
bro, that's a whole nother level
Right.
of surrender, man. Like I'm
Yeah, I
just
don't know. I do
going,
check the
man.
weather every day.
You got to
I
know
know.
what you're gonna wear to walk, right? Yeah, you're gonna wear a poncho
Dude,
or not.
I'm sweating my way through
He's
anything.
still the same. He's like,
I'm
yeah,
coming back wet regardless. So I'm gonna
I'm
be sweaty if
yeah,
I'm
invincible.
rained on.
yep,
That's
Ooh, it's like
funny.
yep.
That's funny.
free shower, man. Big on that,
Not
man.
even
Yeah.
It's a
like
free
big
shower.
boots, small boots, nothing,
I'm like,
nothing.
Yeah.
I carry a little like ketchup thing of soap, and it starts raining. I'm just like lather. I have to
He just
take off the
slaps
shirt.
it.
It could be a beach day or hailing or snowing. It don't
Oh
matter. It don't
shit.
matter.
That's
That's
If it's
all
great. I
funny.
hailing,
love
it's like
it.
a free cup of ice cubes. What are you worried about?
Yeah. Bring some syrup with
That's
you, have a little
funny.
snow cone.
That's funny. That's funny.
I like
All
it.
right.
All
That's
right.
dope. I'll take that question, Miss Brandi.
Okay. Can physical health affect our ability to maintain a positive mindset?
Well, physical health can help you to maintain a positive anything. Anything, man. I when I'm in physical pain, um, it's really hard to get anything going. Depending on what that is, like I've been through some pain that is just debilitating, like back pain, that lower back pain and that stuff that's really debilitating. And it's really hard. We talk about a positive mindset. That's a really killer question, because really, you got to have support. If you're laid up in bed or if you're sick, being sick is
Mm-hmm.
a form of physical health. Being having your physical health not there. So when we're sick, a lot of us will come in here and share about how that's the closest we feel to like withdrawals and things like that, and it can send some people out. If they're long term sick and then they're feeling all the like I already feel like shit anyway. So and if maybe they're around it still, that's a really important thing to do about that question is that's why it's so important to not keep anything around you, not to be anywhere around you,
Yeah.
right? Because when you're
Yeah.
down, you're more apt to go reaching for that, right? If it's just laying in the other room, right? If you're down and you're like, fuck, I'm already missed a couple meetings. I'm sick. Nobody's gonna miss me, right? Nobody's gonna know that I took a little pill, or something. And so just thinking about that situation, I'm that's why I'm glad I can't be. I don't. I surround myself with the anti that, man, because like if I fall out of my chair right now, I'm not gonna land on drugs, right?
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's not in my. I know it's not in my house. I know
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fall over on it. It's gonna fall up my nose, and I'm just gonna start this process all over, right? It's not gonna
Right.
happen. So I'm not going to be on my down and out on my deathbed, physically, and then not be reaching for anything that I can, and that be the only thing that I'm reaching for because it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it happens. We hear about it in these rooms. Like I said, I go to a lot of meetings, so I hear a lot of that shit, man. And it sucks, man, because we could take something like a physical ailment. We slam our finger in the car door. And next thing we know, we're using pain pills. Next thing we know, we're out there doing heroin, and then we're on fentanyl. And then we
Especially when they
don't hear
free
from it.
that they offer them so easily, and we don't walk in with addict at our chest.
We
Like
don't. And then
yeah,
they make that the Narcan where it's on every block 3 times
in
over, right? Like it's
schools.
like in every elevator that is ever known to man. Like they have everywhere. So there's kind of a double standard where I'm seeing the numbers where the actual overdose deaths are going down because of the amount that's out there. But then there's that other layer of kids are just fucking idiots. Kids are
Mm.
stupid. They're like, okay, well, we can just be as effed up as we want to in public because I can get shot with Narcan anywhere I go. So I could be a dumbass and be nodding out at Walmart.
Yeah,
Crazy,
they don't even
man.
know.
It's crazy. And a lot of times I'll see that people, and I'll keep it on who I've seen that, they'll do that shit just in spite of like their parents or that authority figure. Like they'll do that shit just to like, just because like they've been holding them down for so long. They make them go to school and they make them come home at 10 o'clock. They'll do that shit just to get a rise out of the whole process. And And that's
Yeah.
why I'm glad, like mothers like you, Brandi, I'm seeing this a lot. I'm seeing this a lot with like the Chelseas of the world, where they're like, I'm throwing this fucking recovery shit at them from day one. They're going to see how it messed up my life and how I'm having to work at this every single day. They're going to know about the rooms. It's going to be that soft opening to the program, regardless of if they ever get a drug put in their life.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a monumental shift, because I think that was like really, really faux pas up until about now.
I think there's a movement in the younger generation towards sobriety right now. You know, like it it is definitely, ever since there was kind of, I think it was about 2.5 years ago, where there was that real negative press about alcohol, like about, the dispelling of like 1 or 2 drinks a day is healthy. It's like a
Yeah.
real thing where there's like a lot of more sober events, sober bars, sober things.
Yeah.
And I am seeing it in my daughter's generation. Like, she's 23, and the number of people, when we were in Mexico this year, like her current boyfriend, straight, she's straight. All these people that she was meeting there, straight, straight, straight. There is, like, it might still statistically not be in the majority, but it is
But it's
actually a
it's
growing
happening.
thing.
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
like you just can't hide behind the bullshit that's going to make life better anymore.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't. And then there's this
But it
fentanyl now,
doesn't.
and I've said this before, where I think there's like my generation, which I came in right before those kids that were getting hooked on that fentanyl, bro.
Yeah.
Like I was so lucky. And then there's this
Yeah, me
little
too.
group of in-betweeners that they need that shit. They need
Yeah.
that. And that's
Yeah.
they need the shit that's making people die. And then there's your daughter and the younger kids, the after that bubble, where it's like they're scared of shit. They're like, bro,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
want
my
to
kids.
die. I don't want to die. And so whether, I said this when I was in rehab, because there were kids that were getting like fentanyl snuck in, and they would get kicked out, and then
Mm-hmm.
they were just really bad on it, jumping over the fence and stuff, and I'm like, bro, we're bad off, but we're not that bad off. And
Yeah.
and there's that little group of kids that they want to die. They don't care. They know that it's a 1% chance, and eventually it's going to happen. And it's wild to me, because the withdrawals are different. It's like a delayed withdrawal.
Yeah.
You go 4 or 5 days, and then you start your real withdrawals. Come on, man. And it's
Yeah.
scaring kids. It's scaring this younger generation. And I'm so grateful for it,
Me
because
too.
that was my hope, man. I used to pray for that. And because I didn't really know what to pray for, I'm just praying that hopefully this thing comes full circle, where it's going to save a lot of lives. It's killing people now, yes, but it's going to save a lot of lives in the long run. So all them people making all that shit, they thought they had it figured out, but it's really just going to scare people into being like, who's going to do that shit? Why would you
But
do
Yeah.
like
that?
No new customers.
when I was a kid, there was people screwed up, right? But there wasn't like the zombies walking down the road.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
think about it. It's like little kids now have like real life zombies all over their city, and
Yeah.
and there's no like that looks good.
No,
Mm-hmm.
It was different. Like, I'm growing up like late 70s, early 80s. You got like
Mm-hmm.
girls in skin tight jeans, halter tops, and they're jumping in a muscle car with the guy, and that can look cool. Okay. Like that,
Yeah.
that can look cool, but
But when he
leaned
can't start his
over
car
with your
'cause he's fucking
shoulders
out,
touching
yeah.
your
Yeah.
knees because you can't
Yeah.
hold your body upright, and you're pushing the car, like that shit is not attractive.
Nope.
No.
Like I'm telling you right now, that's not Farrah Fawcett and Lee Majors.
No.
Yeah. I like that.
It's just not it. Like,
Julia Michaels is not
Yeah.
coming running at you for that one, man. I promise.
Right.
like it's just right now, like the end result is really not selling it to the younger generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is that it's so freaking addictive that it's still grabbing people, obviously.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I just I am thinking positively in my heart that people are going to see this. People are going to move towards more health, and that more people are going to see, just through the information that's available, that you can actually have a really happy, healthy life by taking care of yourself instead of treating yourself like shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Like I do think that, like, inside my heart, I'm envisioning that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, bro. It's beautiful. We
That
become
was
what
great.
we
I
believe.
feel like sometime we need to do a podcast about the youth, So
Yeah.
we're not young anymore ourselves. We see it everywhere. And,
Yeah.
it's, yeah, I think I'd be good. So that was a good,
I've,
that was a good
I've
rant.
asked my daughter if she come on. She's like, no chance, Dad. No chance.
Yeah.
She's like,
I've
you
asked
would
my
get me
power to
on that.
come on and it said no chance. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Yeah,
Not
we'll
a drop
see.
outside, but no power. That's great.
You're funny.
Did you answer your question, Brandi?
Yeah, I think I answer it. So I chose this question really because I do have a physical disability, and it's a big part of my thinking. So how or can physical health affect your ability to maintain a positive mindset? I mean, yes, 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 yes. So for me, like I deal with chronic pain, and like there's things I can't do any more than I used to be able to do. And but like just going to the pain part to it. So I don't take anything besides ibuprofen. Because I'm just tougher than I think I am. I don't know. And I'm just used to the pain really. But I get through I get into ruts, like, if I'm up on my leg for too long and I don't wear my brace, I feel like shit the next day. And what always happens is the negative, because when like because this all happened during active addiction. So when something goes wrong, I used to be able to make all of it my leg's fault. Like dinner wasn't done on time. Well, if my leg wasn't the way it is, I would be able to make dinner on time. Just like the massive amount. And for me, like I said, who's a positive person, if I don't take care of my body, like I know just from that alone that I will start thinking negative. I'll start thinking like my thoughts will be in a way where I can't conquer them. Well, this is like how it is, like this is just what it is. And I've had to turn around and find positive and stuff like that, because like when I had to apply for a disability, they had me do a psych evaluation, and I was too optimistic. I was like, it's like going to a job interview and telling them everything you suck at, and I was told them that, like there's a lot of things about my life that's miserable. But how is that fair to me? Fair to my family? So I don't want to look at it like that. I'm not going to look at all the negative that comes along with this disability. I have to look for positive. Doesn't mean I don't get stuck in it to this day still. But I've do a lot of work with my sponsor on it, because I can't change this for sure. But I've noticed, like, if I don't feel good physically, whether it be a pain or even a cold or a fight or something like that, like an argument, um, I definitely can find the negative in things without looking for them. And but again, even though it does affect us tremendously, my goal ultimately, when a negative thought comes in, is to not live in it. Like I can't ignore all my thoughts, right? And I can't just erase them. They're gonna come in, but how can I look at this positively? And if it's like, and I know it's not a forever feeling. I know it could be a forever feeling if I allowed it to be. But like just right now, I just feel like shit. Like I just need to, I need to just get through this moment. I need to ice my leg. I need to, do something. I tell girls, like when they're feeling down, I'm like, watch a Disney movie. Listen to something that makes you happy. Like open up that little bit of happiness to see you're like, remember, like, I don't want to be here where it's negative. I want to find the positive again. And but I think today being aware of that is what helps me stay on the positive side. Because I could give you a list of things why I should be negative, but I don't choose to live by those. I don't let those label me. They're because really since I broke my leg, like, I mean, I just a lot of I only have like 2 pairs of shoes, okay? I'm a shoe person. I love shoes, but they don't all fit with my brace. And so I hate that. I live a place that
Curse.
has stairs. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I wear slides or my tennis shoes with my brace. And I used to be a big shoe person. But so much I've gotten out of this, like when I did break my leg and I had to lay down for 8 months, I had to allow people to do stuff for me. And that was big for me because I'm a control freak. In my mind, I'm like, you're folding it wrong. And in reality, it's like, I got to look at, I got closer to my family. I love the outdoors now. So I had to turn around that negative and find the positivity in it. And I have to continuously do it, because even though I know what my situation is and I know that, it's going to be the same tomorrow, uh, I know also that I don't have to live in a negative thought about it, and it's just try to remember, like I'm like, you even like the feeling of negativity. If anything, it gives me anxiety. I can't handle it. And it's like I want to live like this or live like this. I want to live happy, you know? And if I don't like
Nope.
what's going on, I have the ability to change that. And
Oh yeah,
so, yeah.
I love
that was
that.
dope. That was dope. I found a flashlight, guys. Look, I found a
Whoa.
flashlight,
I
and it's
love
keeping
it
me
though. You
alive.
know
Keeping
what?
me alive.
It's
I'm never
bringing some
familiar.
clarity because I was like, man,
Yeah.
I can't see all your beautiful
I know,
details.
man. I'm
Right.
here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
You're an
Right.
innovator. See, look at,
Yes.
I like
Call
and
it.
me
it's from,
MacGyver.
okay, so now this question, have you used, to Andrew, obviously, and how have you used affirmations and how do you use them in your life?
Good question.
Yeah. Not so much anymore. When I was having to remind myself that I was a good person, I had my first sponsor used to tell me, man, when I really was just a negative, I was in that 90-day, just I don't really know if I belong here. I think I'm gonna go, you know. He said he asked me to do something, and he said it was something that changed his life, and it didn't really, like, it made me kind of mad because I thought it was just small and goofy. But he said, I want you to, before you do anything, when you wake up in the morning, he said, pray, or what, do your prayer or whatever you're gonna do. And he said, walk over to your bathroom, wherever your mirror is, and then he said, I want you to give yourself 8 compliments every single morning. And and I thought it was kind of I think it was I thought it was kind of a joke. And then he like called me the next morning. He's like, what you got? And I'm like, what do you mean, what do I got? And he's like, did you do what I asked you to do? And I didn't that morning. But I remember the next morning kind of holding my feet to the fire and doing that. And it was hard, man. It was hard at first. But when you start doing that, when you start actively trying to figure out what you do like about yourself,
Mm.
it makes you realize that there's a lot of things that are good, that you have good going on, and you're not that bad of a person. You know, I think we get out here in society, or wherever we get, and we really can get negative on ourselves and have that negative self-talk, in like in social situations. We stop breathing, shit like that we don't really realize that we do, and then we'll just pull out. I'll just pull out, or you just won't see me. And because it's better for me to not be there than to like deal with my actions
Yeah.
while I'm there, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to have to talk through my actions. I'm just not going to be there, which is not right. It's my fight or flight, you know. I might go to jail if I stay here, or like just little shit. Like I might make a really bad decision, so I'm not going to be here. And then people look at me like, what's wrong with that dude? But little did they know, if I would have stayed, it would have been way worse, you
Yeah.
know? And so I'm not even sure why it got me to that. What did you ask me? Who asked me a question? What
I
was the
asked you,
question? What was the question, real quick, so I can get
have you
back on
used
what?
affirmations in your life and
Yeah,
how do
yeah,
you
yeah.
use
Oh,
them
that's
in your
perfect.
life?
So sorry, I literally forgot your question. So when I started doing that, it helped me start that gratitude list. It made me realize how writing, through the pen we see the light, how powerful writing things down were. It made it almost more tangible. It was something that was sitting there talking to me. It makes when my sponsor also taught me, when you write, it faces what you're writing up to God. A lot of times we'll think that
Mm.
like God just hears everything we're saying, or our higher power will hear everything that we're saying, and that might be true. But like when you write it down, um, it turns it into something more therapeutic for you. It turns it into something that you make accountable to yourself and your guy, because he can read it, man. It's sitting on paper right here. Somebody's reading it,
Yeah.
So that was a real big thing for me. And it's something that I tell my sponsees now, or kids that'll call me and maybe are looking for sponsorship or just need some help. That's one of the first things I do, is I have them do that. And they usually come back with like, bro, thank you. Thank you for doing that. Cause I really did think I was a piece of shit. And a lot of times it's just that fog in their brain mixed with just the circumstances they're going through at that
Yeah.
point. And once they start realizing that, hey, I am compassionate, and I'm a loving person, it doesn't mean that like, I don't feel loved, but I am a loving person. right? So that's a good start, right? Like if nobody loves me, I have to tell myself I'm a loving person, because I'm not going to feel like a loving person if nobody loves me, or if I don't feel like somebody loves me. I have to tell myself that, or I'm not going to know that. And so it's a vital part of this program, is, and a vital part to the jump off of that overall positive thinking aspect to our lives, that we try to stay in that positive thinking. That's easier said than done, man. You know, a lot of times, man, like at work, even, I'm just the jovial, happy, jokey guy, man. I keep it light around there, because there's some negative ass people around there.
Mm,
And I've gotten in some real deep shit at work for that. Like, it's gotten to the point where people didn't take me seriously, but you got to, like, I work, right? And over the long haul, people, you got to take me seriously, like, because I'm here and I'm doing my
yeah.
work and I'm really good at what I do. Yeah, I might joke around in there, but you know me, I'm not like I don't. You don't have to be worried about my why I'm doing that. I'm not doing that for any
Your
reason that's going to
motives.
hurt
Yeah.
you. Yeah, my motives.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. I
Yeah.
don't have to worry about my motives. But they don't know that. They're not like in a program with me. Like, people that I meet in these
Yeah.
programs, in this fellowship, they kind of know when they hear me talk or hear say something. Oh, I think my stuff just came. I heard a beep. Anyways,
I heard that. Yeah.
um, um, but nothing came on. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it, man. The positive thinking, the affirmations. I tend to do that in my prayer. When I'm praying for God to help me through, like, my relationships and things. I try to lap on that with praying to keep the things that I have, which is a layer
Yeah.
to that, because a lot of times we can just pray for all the shit that we want that we don't have, and to pray for good health because it's bad and all that shit. Well, look, if you can pray to keep things that you have, because it can be gone like tomorrow, like that. Everything you have can be gone like that if you start using
Yeah.
again. And what I'm told is, anything you put in front of your recovery, you're going to lose it. That's the first thing
Yep.
you're going to lose. So I believe you when you told me that.
Yeah.
It's another thing that kept me going. And then why not stay positive, bro? I'm doing this thing. Again, we can make ourselves strong or miserable, man, and happy or miserable. It's the same amount of work. So I choose the latter.
Yeah.
Love you guys, man. I'll pass it.
Love
Okay,
it. And it's a
Brandi,
choice.
have you used affirmations in your life, and how do you use affirmations?
You know, so like how Andrew was saying, it's pretty silly to say like you are amazing in the mirror. Like I feel like
Yeah.
everybody's watching me, and really I'm the only one saying it, and they can see it. So I get that. But there's like times where, like especially in just what comes to mind, but I know I do it more in early recovery. Like when there's a point where like you're kind of like going like things are just normal. It's not like, oh, excitement of being clean, and it's not like your wreckage is almost cleaned up, and life is just normal kind of, and it's just at a not a standstill, but just very neutral. And there's times like I had to, I have to get up and tell myself, I am blessed. I am so blessed, and I have an amazing life and all this stuff that I get to do. So I like to use positive affirmation when I'm feeling like emotionally bored or stuck, or it's rained too many days, or you're like, I'm super blessed to be able to like, even though I'm disabled, like my husband has is able to support both of us, and I get to stay home. Granted, I kind of have to, but I like to look at it as I get to. But it can be very Groundhog Day at my house. And so I have to, I go in there and bring out the positive affirmation, because I could easily have a bad day. And if I remind myself, like you are blessed. Like I am super blessed. But there's days where I'm like, this sucks. This is lame. But I do notice when I do that in my head, and I sit there and complain in my head about like I don't have, like I need to get a life or something. My life becomes tremendously busy for a couple weeks, and I got to be careful
Watch what
what
you
I'm
ask
asking
for.
for.
Watch
Yeah,
what you
I
ask
just went.
for.
I just went through it. I just went through it. Like I got to sit
Watch
down.
what you pray
I got to
for.
paint yesterday finally, and like as I appreciate those times.
You just
But
might get it.
right, right. But like coming from like a spot of like an active addiction where positive affirmation did not exist, to really using it as a tool. Like even if I'm not just walking around being like I'm blessed, like I have that ability to remind myself of that with the positive affirmations. Because Like I did so wrong that like I didn't want to acknowledge, like I didn't feel worthy to acknowledge the positive in myself, even though I was a positive person. Like I was still always trying to make up for something. And you know, today like I can say like I'm badass. Like I am a strong person.
Facts.
You know, I'm
I
not
second
weak
that.
and like yeah, like I've I just did this with my sponsor actually, like, you know, practice saying like I'm not weak, I'm smart, you know, like I'm a good person. And though I feel like I believe that stuff, but believing it and like genuinely living as it is, I think, a little bit different because like, you know, it's like my mom tells me I'm pretty, like okay, I'm pretty, that's cool. But it's different when it's like I don't have to tell, like I know this stuff, and not in a cocky way at all, not in a cocky way, you know, in a very humbling way, because I would have never of I would have never said any of that stuff before an active addiction, and today it's a beautiful tool, you know, that can be underrated quite a bit because, you know, we get stuck in like whatever what else is going on, whether it be like your life or like, you know, your family, like, or people you're, you know, you're in a circle with or whatever, that we lose track of the things that are important, and that is, you know, I love a good attaboy, and I have no problem giving myself a good attaboy either. I tell my
Nothing like
husband,
it.
I'm like, I'm the type to, and it's a little bit of people pleasing. I've learned I don't like that, but I like it when you tell me dinner's good. I really like it when you notice that I did the floor today. That's because I know it looks good. I know it tastes good.
Wouldn't that be atta girl?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm gonna have to say that now.
I like that.
Yep.
You could start
Yeah.
that. I've never heard that before.
Right, right. But it's, you know, it's just it's even I could be positive and still not think much of myself. And I've learned to think highly of myself. And not in a better than anybody. I have to say that again, not better than anybody, I'm not like that, but I truly do feel good about myself and who I am as a person, and to remind myself that, and to speak positive things, like, you know, even if it's about a situation, or, you know, like my husband's job, he's, you know, he works for a big name dealership. He doesn't do, you know, car stuff, whatever, but it's a big name. And so, you know, things come and go there, and just speak positivity to him too. And, I kind of look at it as, act as if. So like, if you're not a positive person and you don't know how to do it, that's at like doing the opposite thing. Just act as if. Just act as if you are a badass person.
Act as
By
if
the
you're
end of the
happy.
day, yeah, yeah, by the end of the day, you will be convinced of it. And I think that that's a powerful thing on its own. You know, you may not believe it, just say it throughout the day, and you will believe it by the end of the day. That's
That's
what I got to
beautiful.
say.
My roommate in first year university, he was an excessive smiler. And he turned to me and he's like, dude, you smile. He's like, you literally will be happier smiling.
Yep.
And I tried it,
Yeah.
and not only that is
Scientific.
when you smile, people smile back at you.
And then your turn
Yeah.
smile
If
turns
you
real.
frown, you're getting way less smiles that day.
Then when that
Yeah.
person smiles, your smile turns infectiously real because they're actually smiling, and your smile turns into a real smile.
I know.
It's crazy.
It's amazing.
Crazy.
And so for myself, have affirmations been part of my life? Yes. And how do I use them? So I took like 4 different types of professional coaching inside the real estate when I became a realtor, because where I started out had really horrible training, and I wanted to be awesome. And
Mhm.
and one of the coachings that I took, they had a real thing where they said to write out a page of affirmations every morning. And if you're like, whoa, I don't have enough time, that's bullshit, man. Everyone's got
Yeah.
11 minutes. Everyone's got 11 minutes. And
You
man,
had that time to get high.
the more you do it, the faster you can even get. Okay. But if like, you know, you want to change your life, take 11 minutes and do this for 1 month. If you do this for 1 month, I guarantee you're going to see differences.
Yeah.
So in this course, it was all like financial manifestation. And when I tried to make myself do that, I couldn't do it. And
Mm.
then there was a podcast that I was listening to from these 2 guys that were kind of born from this course, you know, this course that I had taken. And one of the guys said, you know, he's like, he's like, my very beginning of my affirmations is good things happen to us every day. He's like, why? He's like, because who doesn't want good things to happen every day? And
Yeah.
so that's actually up right here, right on my tattoo. But good things happen
So
to us every day. But when I started. I'm like, I'm gonna give this affirmations thing another try. So every
Yeah.
morning I would literally write a page. I would modify it here and there, but it was like, good things happen to us every day. I'm grateful for the privilege to help and serve, bringing my life health, wealth, and happiness for my family. And that's what I would write, and I would fill a page of it. And it was really, really life changing. Even just the fact that you're starting your day thinking that good things are going to happen. Like by the
Yeah.
time you're done writing a page, you close your eyes and you see the words good things.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
like that's
yeah.
it, it really was. And then, you know, like it's like you either have to or you get to, right? We've talked about that on this show.
Yeah.
And that's I'm grateful for the privilege to help and serve. And that's the
Yep.
tattoo over here on this side. And so it's just like every day I get reminded of that, but I have not been doing them in a long time, writing them all the way out. And it's something that I do feel is a missing ingredient in my day. And I
Mm.
don't like, I just didn't have as many things stacked up before the program in my day. And now I'm like, holy shit, man, how much stuff can I get in here before work? Like,
Yeah.
it's almost like I need the notepad while I'm walking.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think though that for myself, it's mindset. And so when we're talking about positive thinking, you either believe in abundance or scarcity. And if you have a scarcity mindset, there's not enough for everyone and there's never enough for you. And if you have an abundance mindset, there's more than enough for everyone and we can all feast. So instead of trying to tear each other down, we're all going up together. And it's a real thing. Like it's a
Yeah.
real thing. And even if people are like, oh yeah, bro, I've got your best intentions in mind. Yeah, yeah, see how fast they come back to you when they owe you $20. You know,
Yeah.
Yep.
like,
Yeah. Right.
yeah, like for surest way to get rid of an enemy, let him $20, man.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I used to lend people like $20 just to be like, be gone.
Bro, that is
Right.
beautiful. That is
Right.
awesome.
But so
That,
anyway, anybody out there who's never tried writing affirmations for 1 month, I challenge you. I challenge you
do
to
it.
Yeah.
do it and to contact me after that month
Do it.
because
Yeah.
it's $2 at the dollar store
I dare
for one
you.
of those ring books.
Dare
And,
you.
and man, I dare you to make your life better.
Double
Well, that's
dog.
one of those things. What bad would come out of it?
You have nothing to lose except for
Yeah.
a little bit of
Nothing to
ink and
lose.
11 minutes a day.
Yeah.
You not doing it is just your disease playing on you. The fact that you
Yeah.
don't do it is just your disease creeping in there. Like, nah, you don't want to do that shit.
Yeah.
You don't do-
You never know that one little exercise might be the one that takes you further because there's a lot of
Yeah.
exercises and there's some that
Yeah.
are more powerful to me than others, but who knows? So it's worth trying if you haven't done it yet.
You know what I think? Music is a beautiful thing. And we didn't touch on this,
Mm.
Milan,
I
but
love
music,
music.
listening to music puts me in a good mood. It gets me positive
Yeah.
thinking. Like if I'm in a
Yeah.
bad mood, I listen to music, or you probably make
Me
music.
too.
Jesus Christ, you make music.
Yeah.
I listen to it and
Music
it
is huge
changes
for
my
me.
day. I zone out. I clean my shit, like I clean my car, whatever.
Mhm.
I gotta have music. If I'm cutting the grass, it gets me focused,
Yeah.
positive. Like work isn't as hard when I'm listening to music and I'm rolling in that harmonious place. So
Yeah.
When there is the right music, it's like you're in tune with the universe.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
couldn't have
you're
said it better.
literally vibrating with the universe instead of against it.
Yeah.
As your body flows, you're just flowing with it, and you're just going. You're just
It's like
going.
it's like you, man. How many times have you been like at that quintessential, like orgasmic moment of a song, and somebody walks by on the sidewalk to your song, and you're like the whole universe is rocking to
Yeah.
my
Yes.
rhythm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Like that's happened to
great. I love
me
that.
like
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many times. I'm just like,
Yeah.
and the dog's tails like go.
Yeah. Somebody pulls up next to you and they're pumping to the same song you are. You know it because they
Yeah.
just pulled up right
Yep.
at that same moment. Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that. I love
Okie
it.
dokie, Andrew, you got a question for
Yes,
Brandi?
I do. Brandy, are you
guess
ready?
what? I love you guys.
Love you more.
Oh, I love you guys
tons.
too.
Love you
Katona,
more.
Tuckaton.
Brandy, we need to know the answer to this question. How do you stay positive even when everything feels really heavy and uncertain?
You know, And I'm going to throw a little bit in there too, that if everything I'm, heavy and uncertain, but being surrounded by it, there's, like there's not everybody in the world is positive.
Mhm.
And, but like I say, like I remind myself, I go back to my original thinking of things, and that is the positive of stuff. And like, and it's kind of like, it's playing either tape through also. If I just go through this and if I try to stay, positive, uh, then I'll get through this. Rather it's my ending or not, I'll get through it. But if I just like let the negative fall on me, oh, it's going to be the end of the world. And it's going to take forever. And it's all this, I'm not even going to want to, try to tackle it or acknowledge it or whatever it is. Um, it's important to be able to, recognize both sides to it, and so when it's a heavy situation, and also I think being positive thinking or optimistic is not neglecting that there's negative around us, and not, it's not that you are just lollygagging through something like, oh, nothing's gonna happen to me, I'm super positive. It's not what that means. It's like, it's how am I'm gonna look at this in a perspective that is
Positive.
in a more positive way. Like, how can I, my big thing is, how can I learn from this? I've been trying to tell myself that a lot lately. It makes a big difference. Like, if something bad goes, okay, well, I gotta be able to learn something from this, because then it's not for nothing. And
Teachable
that's one
moment.
thing. Yeah, and I've learned to be able to be like that since being in recovery. That it's okay to not make mistakes, because it means I'm learning. And when or to get through something that I would run from before, go through it, rather even if it was uncomfortable the whole time, I'm gonna have a positive outlook in the end, because I made it through it. And it's to keep going with the outcome of positive, because it's hard to take one step forward if it's negative, because life keeps lifing, life on life's terms. Like, just because we are, and even for ourselves, just because we're working, on ourselves and our spirituality and our recovery, doesn't mean the whole world is. Doesn't mean that we don't lose people, we don't lose jobs, we don't get into fights. Like, all that stuff still happens, and we get to acknowledge it and deal with it today, where before that's just not how we did it. So, I remind myself of all the tools that I have today, what I have to lose. And like I said before, acknowledge that this moment is not forever. We got to still do hard things. And I've had to have really uncomfortable conversations in recovery. And as a former, sometimes still people pleaser, that's hard. It's really hard. But I try to remember the positive parts to it, of like either what the conversation is, the outcome of why this is a awkward conversation, and how it benefits me to be able to do that. So, yeah, remembering where I've been and where I want to go, and how I want to get there, because we could get there anyway. But how long do you want it to take? How bad do you want it to hurt at the same time too? So I like that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because you never know. You got to be prepared.
Yeah. Gotta be prepared, man, on the front end, because the back end isn't as bad. You ready, Milan? I love you.
I was
How do you
just
stay
changing my name. Read the question.
how do you stay positive even when everything feels heavy and uncertain?
So, as the artist formerly known as People Pleaser, also AKA the Prince of Pity Parties,
That's right.
you know, I think that I used to fake it a lot.
Mm,
I would fake my moods a lot. And sometimes I would even just fake in order to go use.
yeah.
Like it really was. But one thing I'm finding now is that life can be filled with more bad moments and less bad days. Like my feelings are open, and I can pivot emotionally on a dime. I could be really hurt, and 2 minutes later be really remorseful for my response from that. Whereas I would have carried
Yeah.
that right across the day before,
Yeah.
and so hard times. Like, one of the things that I'm finding is, like, literally step 10 Starsic here, is that the
Yeah.
more I'm looking at my actions the less those moments. Whoa, we're coming alive here. West Virginia comes alive with Andrew Norman.
I can cook, I can eat, I can
You
live.
can flush your toilet
Yay.
again.
I got positive attitude about this right now. Positive thinking.
That's
Come on.
right.
That's
Let there be
great.
light. And so, like, if I
was good.
have the awareness now of what's going on right here inside there, then I don't have to live there all day long. And it definitely was something that before I was trapped inside those moments, and I was prolonging them myself. Like I was prolonging those, like my emotional amplification in order to enable using. That was what I did.
Mm.
And now it's just like, man, I don't want a pity party. I don't want to be invited. I don't even want to hear myself start one. Like when I actually do, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, that's me. I'm like, shit, man. Like, because if it was you, I could just walk out of the room or end this podcast and like leave. But when it's me, I'm stuck with me. So I got to deal with that shit. I got to deal with that. And I have to say that, there's been some unbelievably hard things that have happened in the last year. And I honestly feel that surrender and acceptance have been massive tools in that. And the vehicle to that has been definitely prayer, meditation. Those two things, are now kind of like my vehicle to freedom. And without that, then I end up sitting in my defects. It's so funny. I got to tell you guys this quote that I heard, and you guys are going to like this. And especially you, Andrew, you're going to use this. It's like, the literature is like the menu, but the conscious contact with our higher power is like the actual meal.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I like that.
And then the
I
conscious
like
contact
that.
is the meal. Okay.
Oh yeah, like basically, you can look at the book and you could say, I'd like to get an order of freedom here, but you don't get that freedom until you're close to your higher power.
So that's the steak. The steak is the
That's
conscious
the meat.
contact.
Yeah.
That's the meat and potatoes.
I got
Right?
sour cream. I got corn on the cob.
You get a side salad with that, Jank?
You can get any flavor you want. And I want
Get a half
bacon
a side
bits.
salad with
Can
that.
I get a side of Williams, please?
Is that a Ruth Chris steak? Oh my God.
That's it.
That's beautiful,
That's
man. That's
good.
beautiful. Depending
I
on
like
your conscious
that.
contact and your spiritual, conditioning, that depends on that. That is what kind of steak you get.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You've got
You
the
want a
menu.
sirloin or you want a filet mignon? Which one
That's
you
right.
want? Stay tapped in.
Yeah.
You get what
Woo.
you want.
Yeah.
Making me hungry.
Whose answer is it now?
You've got to answer yours now.
Okay. All right. So answer my question. How do I stay positive when everything feels heavy or uncertain? Well, I get lights on. And I get yeah, woo. My top. Yeah, see, you heard me. Man, look, so when I get in that spot, I remember when I was treading those waters early and everything felt really uncertain. I love you too. And trust me, like I had a lot of those. But there was a point where I had to turn into being this like are you gonna be a fearful dude the rest of your life and run from this shit? Or are you gonna like overcome this thing, And I remember when I first came in here, the only thing that kept me here was y'all talking and telling me to keep coming back just for today and all these basic things that y'all threw at me. And that's what I leaned on at that point. Was I just leaned on the basics, man. Just praying. Look, I prayed. I really, really, really got that praying going on. I didn't know what I was doing praying yet. And I wasn't really getting answers, but I was just doing what I was told. I tried to stay in the moment and, practice gratitude. Gratitude was my lifeline, man. I just feeling that grateful spot. Like when I came into a meeting, it didn't matter where I was mentally or in my situation, outside or inside the rooms. I felt good. I feel good in meetings. I get that. Not like not like an outer body experience, but it's what I need spiritually. I get connected when I'm in these meetings, regardless of where anybody's at in the meeting, because I start reading those readings, we pray out. And if you're in a place to receive it, like you're gonna receive it, you know. And so this was a big thing that I had to get over, is allowing myself to cry, right? And understand that who I am is not a bad person, and that crying is not a bad thing to do. Like, crying is something that is extremely therapeutic for me. You know, I can cry today and not really worry about like what you're thinking, or why I'm crying. Like, I can do it, and I can after I cry, I can um you know, I can process my way into why, and what it's done for
Mm-hmm.
me, you know. And I got people in my life I can cry with. I talk about that a lot, man. You know, we don't forget the people we cry with.
Yeah.
We forget a lot of people we laugh with, but we don't ever forget those people that we truly cry with, when we feel comfortable enough to cry with somebody. And we cry a lot in these rooms in front of
Mm-hmm.
dozens of people, even more sometimes. And then that has their emotions move to tears, right? Like, that's how this thing works, is we come in here, and we share, and our hearts connect with each other, and our feelings and our thoughts and our love and our prayers. All this shit goes together in these meetings. It all just comes and jumbles like a soup. It's like a soup, man. It's like the best soup
It's a
that, you know,
positivity
whatever
soup.
soup Nazi. I mean, whatever soup we want. And so you know, I love soup and sandwiches, man. I could live on soup and sandwiches. I could eat nothing else but soup and sandwiches my whole life, and I could eat. I'd be fine. I'd be fine. Um, and so you know, coming in here and being able to, when I'm in my bad days, be able to lean on you guys to get me right
Mm-hmm.
mentally, and then when I'm in my good days, I help pick people up that aren't there that day. You know, we're all exactly where we're supposed to be for a reason right now. And we're exactly where we're supposed to be, or we wouldn't be on this podcast. The people in meetings right now wouldn't be in those meetings they would be at, and it wouldn't be working like it's supposed to. So don't try to process or think negatively to get yourself out of this place, man. Like, just really ride this wave, man, because there's enough room for everybody. There's enough room
Yeah.
for everybody. Our diversity is our strength, bro. If you have a willingness to stop using it, you got that desire, that's all you need. You don't need the shirt on your back. What you do if you want to be on camera in a Zoom meeting. But
Please.
other than
It's,
that,
it made me think, like, how free do you want to be?
exactly. How free do you want to be, man? Free to
Yeah.
hell.
When you're stuck in that negativity and you want to be free, how free do you want to be?
Bro,
How,
then being
yeah.
negative, if you're already negative, like if you want to go negative with it, I mean, how low do you want to go? Because when you get real low, it takes a lot of climbing out of that hole to get out of that
Mm-hmm.
hole, man. Like
Yeah.
whether it's financial, emotional, mental, that shit's worse than the financial. At least you can go make money, and you know it's like, get this amount of money, you're okay. Mentally,
Yeah.
you're like, you might not come out of that spot,
Yeah.
you know. So it's
That keeps me
important.
positive too. I
Yeah.
mean, we've all been in that dark spot before,
We could be so negative that it wears off on the people that we love the most and turn them into
Yeah.
negative assholes too. We don't like that. I don't like, I that's one of the worst parts of my disease, is I turn the people around me into evil people, and that's fucked up. So that's something I can't do. I can't go back there anymore, man, because I just don't got it in me. I don't have it in me. I don't
Right.
have it in me to reel back from that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be worse than dying. So I'll pass that to you, Brandi, to ask Milan.
I want to make one point before Brandi asks me a question. I really think it's important for somebody new out there to realize that, you know, a big part of this program is us becoming present and not being in the past or the future. And there's a really slim chance of having a spiritual awakening if you're being negative, because you will be living in the past or the future at that point.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so it's like of the utmost importance for us to clear away that shit from the past and to pull ourselves from that future anxiousness, you know, and live presently. And the way to do that is through positive thinking and gratitude. You know,
Yeah.
like there's almost no real present living if you're just living in negativity. I think it's almost impossible. And I just wanted to say that before we went to the next question,
No,
because
that's
what you
great.
were saying, Andrew, was making me think
Yeah.
that.
There's no
Yeah.
amount of like anxiety that's going to change the past, and no amount of like fear that's going to change the future or whatever. But any amount of gratitude changes the present moment.
Yeah,
Any
Yeah.
amount, even a
yeah,
little amount, even the littlest amount, right? So
that's right.
let that shit go, man.
And it's like, you know, it's starting with the very basic of things. You know, like, okay, hey, you should have some gratitude you're alive, that there's air to breathe, you know,
Yeah.
that you might have clothes on you, unless you're wanting to be topless or something. But
Yeah.
but like shelter, food, you know, there's some real
Yeah.
basic things that we can start out with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You have running
So,
water, right?
mhm.
Warm running water,
You
right?
got
Like little
power,
things. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know?
I didn't
like the
have it
bright
for the
light of
first
Virginia
hour.
Beach, Superteria.
Yeah.
Yeah, woo.
Well, I
Starting to
like
get
Andrew. You
worried.
said one day, I said to my husband, he thought it was real good too. You know, if you got one leg in yesterday, one leg in tomorrow, you're pissing on today. Like
Yep.
that's just, that's,
You're
yeah.
AKA straddled.
Yeah. You're just taking advantage of the
Stradolino.
moment you have. Yep.
True
That stuck with me.
Blamelito. Straddleito.
Stradolino.
That's funny.
Okay.
Sarah
Okay, I ask
Straddleito.
a question now, right?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Princess Penelope, positively porridge.
What is it? The bright light of Virginia Beach Super.
Superteria.
What is that?
Because you were talking about love and soup. A superteria
Oh,
is a place
soup.
that serves soup.
Soup Nazi. I thought you would put on there. Soup
No.
Nazi. That's funny.
Oh, that's funny.
Princess
Okay,
Penelope.
how do you handle other people's negativity?
Whew, man, sometimes I run.
Slap him in the face.
Sometimes I run, and sometimes I just, you know, I definitely try not to let it make me change, you
Mm,
know, because I always say, you know, like if you let an asshole make you an asshole, they win.
They win.
They
yeah,
win. They win. And so, you know, I gotta just keep being me,
yeah,
really. And you know, and sometimes they just need some love. You know, like if I'm finding somebody really struggling, like say I'm at a meeting, you know, whatever, I'm gonna be like, hey man, you want a chair? Or I'll like try to get them involved. You know,
yeah,
Well,
and sometimes, you know, sometimes they're just lonely. You know, and they're
yeah,
negative because they're lonely, and
yeah.
sometimes they just need that love or that friendship.
Any
But you
community,
know,
man.
mm-hmm,
but quite honestly, there's just days I can't take it on. You know,
mm-hmm,
and I just remove myself from the situation. You know, and I can say Milan guilty from leaving a meeting when it's getting shit on with negativity because
yeah,
I just don't believe, like I believe that we choose our environment. And ultimately, no matter how hard it is to leave, I have the choice to be here or leave unless you try to physically restrain me. And when I'm not
yeah,
physically restrained, I just won't let myself get exposed to certain things
yeah,
because I'm just like, life is too short to waste it on your shit parade, you know,
yep.
and that's okay.
You talking about being Larry Levalito?
Larry, leave a lotto.
Is that what you're saying? You talking about like Larry Levalito? What?
Oh, I'm a leave a
That was
leader. I'm a
great.
leave a lotto.
That was funny.
What's wrong with
That
us?
was
Fun
funny.
covery.
Right, fun covery. All right, Andrew, how do you handle other people's negativity?
I've answered too many questions tonight. I'm pissed.
I'm done.
Bro, you already know the answer to this. I kill him with love, man. You talk about killing with
Yeah.
kindness. I throw him with love. Like I'm gonna just say the blanks that come into our rooms. We know a few
Mm-hmm.
of them. I still tell them I love them. I don't want them to use, and I still love them even if they do. And it's more of just a dry, like you got to throw it at them until they start changing that lingo a little bit. You can't even really start the second half of that conversation until they accept that love in the front part of it,
Yeah.
because you can't come in here every single time and say nobody loves me, and then we tell you that 15 people are staying around this parking lot and tell you that we love you every single time and throw that shit on you every time, and then you just say the same thing when you come in next time and flame out. Kill them with love, pray for them. I
Yeah.
pray for my enemies, man. It has been one of the most monumental things in my life to be able to do that.
Hardest and most, yeah, most
Bro, it's so hard.
rewarding.
It's so hard. It gets
Yeah.
easier. When you start doing it, it
Yeah.
gets easier because you get 3 or 4 of them on that list and you're praying for them every day. It gets easier to attack that other one on that list.
Yeah.
Think about that, man. It really is hard to do the first or second one. And when you consistently do it, you can throw those people on the end of that list and it can become more of a personal prayer for that person. And the more personal it gets and the more good, like even if it's just they're away from you and they're, you don't hear about them, good things happen to people that are prayed for and who pray for other people. I know that for a fact. And so I pray for people. I again, we can only show them the lake to drink out of. We can't make them drink it.
Yeah.
We can show them how healthy and how cool it is that we're bathing off in it and feeling good with clean, right? We can make them want to drink that. We can make it attractive to drink that water, but we can't make them want to save their own lives, man. You know, what we're
Yeah.
doing here is we're trying to point. The overall thing is to point people to meetings, which will point them to sponsorship and these 12 steps, and to ultimately point them to a God of their understanding. Like, that's what this whole thing is about, you know, because once you get that, like, this thing is what you want it to be. This is our, like, we're all talking about the same program and like programs, 12-step fellowships and stuff, but we, like, Miss Brandi has her own specific recovery program that works for her on a daily basis. Milan has his own specific set of principles and things that he has to do every single day to make sure that he maintains staying clean without the wanting to use drugs.
Yeah.
I have my own way to do it, but I wouldn't be able to do any of this if I wasn't pointed into this room and then had my hand held and showed these steps and how to stay clean and to point my life to a God of my understanding and a sponsor. Like this doesn't just happen day one.
Yeah. Yeah.
All this stuff doesn't happen day one. So it's about staying in this thing, knowing that you gotta trust the process, man. You gotta trust this process. This program will not let you down. It won't let you down. It's everything you want it to be. If you're looking for those reasons why you want to stay clean the rest of your life, for the rest of your life, and stay positive, then you'll find every single one of them that you're looking for. If you're looking for reasons why you don't want to be here, you'll find all of it immediately. It's that gray, it's that buffer zone in between you finding that God and knowing that you're signed on, and like, I want to die. Like, there's that buffer zone where we got to get you there, right? And that's just means coming to more meetings. It's really hard to use drugs in a meeting. We have 24-hour meetings that literally don't close. Like, literally, you could stay in there for weeks, years, if you needed to, right? So some of us are sicker than others, but this program allows for all manifestations of the recovering addict are welcome here.
Right.
And needed. Like, if you're bringing a different perspective to this recovery game, then thank you for being here, and you're showing another one of our brothers how to do this, and sisters, right? You're putting a different layer into this thing. So don't come in here like but we can recover as atheists. It's in our literature.
I got nothing to offer.
Scotty was an atheist coming in here.
Yeah.
Bro, you can't differentiate yourself out. It doesn't work. You can't. There's nothing you can say that will make us not want you to be here, unless you're just like, I'm not an addict. I'm like, okay, well, we have open meetings, so you can go to that sitting there, even if you're not an addict, and hear the message. So I don't even know why I got all upset.
You'll never know if this program works if you don't thoroughly apply yourself. And to me, in my humble opinion, if you don't give it 1 year of your all, you'll never begin to feel the full benefits of it.
Yep.
And that's, you know,
and a lot changes in that year, so that's good. You got to give it that time.
Yeah, like, I mean, you're just not even going to start to clear in your head if you were any kind of addict like I was. Like, you know, for me, it's just like, if you don't, like, you gave so many years to addiction, give one to yourself.
Yeah.
You won't look back. If you get a year under your belt and you really work this program and you want to go back to it, the streets
you'll be a different
anywhere.
person than that.
The streets aren't going anywhere. So you got that. That shit ain't going nowhere.
And Andrew said he'll fully refund your misery.
100%.
Andrew's got a knapsack of it. He's come to the door. He hands it back to you. You could be unhappy.
As long as I have power. Yeah, we're good.
Right. We'll give you a refund.
I love you guys.
I love you more, man.
Princess Penelope positivity porridge.
Oh.
I want a bowl.
Oh, give me a double.
That's the porridge, please.
Proper to say. So how do I handle other people's negativity? Because we can't deny that we are affected by other people, whether it's their positivity or their negativity. I think both are very contagious. And I do believe some people, they, you know, like I've got some negative people in my life that are amazing people. They just have a different way of looking at things. Like, their glass is always half empty. And but to me, it can be, I combat that shit with my positivity, first of all, but I try not to let it soak into me. But it does if I'm around it too much, or if I hear too much negativity at one time, I'm like, you got to throw something positive in there, because it will make me feel like anxious, really anxious. And this isn't the best way to deal with it, but I would just be like, shut down. Okay, well, I'm gonna wait till you're done. and then, and then we can talk about something else, because you need to get it
Sit
out,
there
I
with your
guess.
hands in the nest. And you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. But it's important to be able to handle other people's negativity, and not a way to try to fix them. Of course, you don't want them to feel like that, but in a way of like, you got to protect your own peace also. You got to, to be there for somebody that maybe doesn't look at things the same way as you is beautiful, but you protect your own peace at the same time. Because I think that, like, I used to not know that's what I needed to do. And I would, other people's negativity would be on my back, and they didn't put it there even. Like, I allowed it to climb on, and I took it for a ride. And while still trying to maintain this positive person that I am. And it can, it's kind of like how my the ripple effect of negativity. And it's a hard one to be around. But I think negative people need love too, because some of them don't know. Maybe they've never really felt positivity, and or knew that there was another side to the way that they thought. And when you were saying that before too, it's like, someone's negative, I'm like, challenge accepted. and like, I've sponsored somebody, well, a couple, but like one for like a minute, that I think that, Andrew, you did too. And it was like, it was positive, it was negativity wrapped in a little bit of positivity. So you don't know how negative it is until after it starts to unwrap.
evil
And
positivity, boy.
yeah, yeah. And it's really hard. Like, I'm also not one to convince somebody of what I see that's positive. Like, I'll tell you how I dealt with it. Like, this is how I tried to look at it. Like, suggestions only. And if there's this person's like, nope, 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 this is a pile of shit, and that's all it's going to be. All I can do is just be there when they need positivity. I can't keep spewing it out to them, because that's when it starts to affect me too. Because I start getting, start getting negative feelings towards this person because, there's a point where they just don't want to, or they don't know how to. I feel a lot of people out there that are negative don't want to feel like that. But it's like, I try to tell them, like, you don't have to.
There's a little ripple where it's like they don't even remember like yesterday, or like what they said, or
Yeah.
what they didn't say. And then it's like they come to the whole day like it's all great and positive. And you're like, bro, don't you remember what we didn't do or didn't do like yesterday? And it's like,
and to someone positive, like, I remember what you said word for word. What do you mean you don't remember?
Are you messing with me? I gotta call somebody and be like, bro.
And that's when acting
right
as
now?
if. So if you're negative, you don't know how to do it, and you don't, I couldn't imagine someone wanting to be negative. I just don't. I mean, I'm not. Maybe it's a thing. I don't know, but I couldn't imagine it. So it's
Milan
like that whole back
like,
to.
Why would you want to be negative? You
Yeah,
gotta be positive.
act as if.
Yeah.
Act as if that everybody around you is, like, some people are like, nobody, like you're saying, nobody loves me. This doesn't work for me. Act for a moment that it does.
Lies, because we love you.
Act for a moment that this will work. That this day will be good. That these people do love you. They may not like be walking down the aisle with you or calling you 10 times a day or sending you Christmas cards, but from one recovering person to the next, we fucking love you.
It's hard enough to say nobody loves me in a building that nobody's telling you they love you. At least if you're in a building where everyone's telling you they love you, embrace it.
And showing the options, like, you don't have to feel like this, and yeah, I can't help but to always go back to act as if, because it could be a foreign feeling for people. And the people that I have in my life, I think my son can hear me, but he's one of them. It's like, think positive for a minute. Give me one thing positive, like a positive sandwich. Say something positive, then throw something negative in there if you want, and then give me something positive again.
A ham jam sandwich?
That's right, a ham jam sandwich. But it's just showing them, the difference. And if it starts to really affect me, I have to distance myself. I'll always be there, but I can't be as in, trying to help you out of something that you just don't want out of. And so it's a hard one, because some of the people I love the most can be negative, but they got me. So they got positivity in their life.
Bastards, right? Lucky motherfuckers.
So that give them that little bit of positivity, they can't get rid of me. Yeah.
That's awesome. I
I
love you,
used to be
Brandi.
conceited, but now I'm perfect. So
It's so dope. And I paint rocks. I don't smoke them.
that's right. That is right. That's right. So that's my answer to my question.
I
love
love
it.
that. Okay, Andrew, you ready?
Yes.
Gratitude is one of the most powerful forms of positive thinking. It transforms what we have into more than enough. What is something simple you're grateful for today that you once overlooked?
Something that I overlooked. Just God, man, I go back to the real simple shit when we ask questions like this. Like just being able to wake up in the morning, right? On God's time, like when God sees fit, not when somebody's racking me out of bed. Being allowed to, being able to go to sleep at night when I want to, when God sees fit, right? When somebody's telling me to go to sleep, when they're turning the lights off, right? I could stay up as late as I want to. Being able to sleep in my own bed, like those little things that when we don't have those things, it's like we would do anything to have those. And once we get them and we get them for a little while back, I think we can lose sight of how important the little bare necessities like that, and the little things in life, man. The little things in life make everything go around, right? At least for me, like even in a relationship, um, the little things make everything to me. Like the little teeny details are the things that really make a relationship special for me. And being able to notice those little details today, I think that puts another layer on my relationships in general, not just my romantic relationship, but like in my relationships in general. I'm able to notice these little times that we have, and then I can layer that down with like, next time I see you, I have the wherewithal to talk about it because it did touch me, whatever we went through or whatever moment. Man, we go through a lot of really cool moments in these meetings, business meetings. We go through
Yeah.
ups and downs, and we come on the other side, bro. And we get like I am really, really close to you two for a lot of reasons. You know what I mean? I've never even been in the same fucking area as y'all, but I
Yeah.
am so close to you guys because we go through things, and we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, and we make these meetings, and we foster a place where we can come in here, we can sign on if we want. Nobody's making us be here, at this point, for us three at least. We don't have to be in these rooms, but we sign on, and as soon as I sign on to a meeting, my any anxiety, all that worry just completely flushes out. Are y'all the same way? When you sign on to a
Yeah.
meeting, you sit there and you get in, and you see who's there, you go,
Ooh.
Yep.
like
Ooh.
it's just I'm recentered. I can restart my day at any time, restart my mindset at any time. I can get positive. It's a positive switch immediately when I'm in a meeting. You might see a couple people you don't like, and that's a personal issue. You guys work on some step work and you get through that. But these meetings are so magical that they have so many good feelings and good people in here that all they want to do is talk about what they've been through and how they've gotten through it. And then when they see you struggling, bro, you're going to have a whole new list of people to call just from one meeting. If you come on and be a little vulnerable and cry, get some tears out and say, I've never been to a meeting before and I don't know what the fuck is going on. We had to help you unmute because you don't even know where to find the unmute button. We will, bro, we will carry you around that virtual room.
Yeah.
We'll send you a key tag too. If you come to Meeting Maker, we'll send you a damn key tag free of charge if you have the willing and a basic
And a sticker.
text. And a sticker and a basic text too.
I want a sticker.
Brandi's autobiography. We'll get you.
I know. I need to get your address actually because I was gonna make a.
You're about to have 2
like
years coming up. He's about to have his 2 years coming up too.
Yep.
So that's where I'm at with it, man. Just please come in here, find us. We're very accessible. If you're looking for some help in here, you're looking for meetings, man. We're all over the place. We have websites, nameetingmakers.com. You can find us anywhere, man. So love y'all, man. Love you, bro. I'm speaking tomorrow. Come see me. I'm speaking tomorrow. I sent you the information.
Yes, Princess. Well, no, I'm having a meeting here at the same time, a live meeting.
Well, I'll be in New Zealand. Just giving a hope.
In New Zealand. Okay. Princess Penelope, gratitude is one of the most, gratitude is one of the most powerful forms of positive thinking. It transforms what we have into more than enough.
In the bathroom,
What
please,
is
BB.
something simple you're grateful for today that you once overlooked?
Man, is anything simply more? I mean, simple, yeah. So when you were saying, Andrew, what I was thinking of first of all was like not like a tangible thing so much, but like I'm so grateful for the love I have for myself today. Because I took advantage of myself because I wasn't going anywhere. It's like I was gonna, I was losing myself, but I'm gonna be there. So to be able to acknowledge that's a part of myself and genuinely, because I could say before that I love myself, but like I really do today. I love who I am as a person. And so like and I've full on took advantage of that. And I'm grateful that I'm here today to be able to say that out loud. I'm grateful, and even like the honesty, that's not simple really either, but like I'm super grateful that I have the ability to be honest today. And one thing that's not simple, but is definitely my favorite. Like I am eternally grateful, again, not tangible, well, I guess kind of, is for my husband. Because, like I took advantage of our relationship for years on the ability that he'd still be there. So the fact that after all that, and then still have him in my life and to be my best friend, where I was his worst enemy for a long time, like I took advantage of that for many years, and I'm eternally grateful for that. Like, and with this program, and with everything I put into it, like just it. Not only do I still have it, and I don't take advantage of it anymore. I get to grow from it, and we get to grow from it. Like I always think about like things that make or break people. Like we've always been able to have things make us, but this was a iffy one because this was not just one event. It went on for a long time. And there's a lot of things, big, small, things we don't even see that are taken advantage of. The time with my family, conversations with my kids, the trust that I get now. Like those are, I mean, I don't think any of those are small really. Like I took advantage of everything. Everything. I used to always say like I would have broke up with me 1,000 times. Like hands down, no way. And it's like just so much that this program is opened my eyes to what I have. What I've gained also, but what I have. I've like when you say like, well, I got too much to lose. Well, I've had too much to lose. I definitely have more now when it comes to who I am. But that stuff, when midst of my disease and I just only wanted to fulfill myself, I didn't care that if I was doing something that made me not love myself. I didn't care if I was doing something that I was lying to my husband or not being there for my kids. Like that is, I totally took advantage of the fact because in my eyes they weren't going anywhere. As many times as it almost did or should have happened, I took advantage of the fact that I it was still there. And today I'm so grateful that it is still there, and they get to see who I'm becoming, like who I'm supposed to be. Not perfect, not I don't have it all together, not all days are good, but like I'm truly who I'm supposed to be. And I'm not even done.
You're changing generations, Miss Brandy.
Yeah.
I love
And
that.
that's a big thing, especially when
Beautiful.
even if your family isn't wrecked with addiction like mine is, but when it is and you get to see, somebody like get out or do something different, it makes a change. It changes the future so much. Can't change what happened already and generations in the past or mine alone. But on the next one, yeah, makes a difference.
Isn't that
So
such
I'm
an incredible
grateful.
feeling? How
Yeah.
an incredible feeling is that to be that person?
Yeah. But it makes me think about a lot of stuff that my parents maybe hadn't recognized or acknowledged or done. Like, like there's things I've done differently, and it doesn't make me look at my parents in an ill way, but they just weren't equipped. Maybe shit just wasn't as bad. It wasn't frowned upon as it is today.
A
Or
lot of people did the best they knew with what they
yeah,
had.
Both of y'all
Yes.
have a positive mindset.
yeah, yep. So
Mhm.
Get it?
that's right.
Positive
I'm like, wait,
mindset.
what?
Okay. Both of y'all have a
Uh,
positive mindset. I'm sorry. I was
What-
trying to be womp womp.
Oh man, I lost it. Sorry, I missed it. It went.
I mean, me too. I
But-
was
That's
like,
the
what?
topic. Positive mindset.
Oh
That's the
yeah.
topic.
Positive thinking.
Oh, that's right. I'm a dummy. Yeah, positive thinking. That's what I should have said.
I'm feeling some stinking thinking.
God, I'm a
Oh,
dummy.
that's funny.
Okay,
That is
so what
funny.
is something simple I'm grateful for today that I once overlooked? Well, man, there's so much that's changed.
Hmm.
Like this one's tough only because it's like, well, what thing am I going to pick
Yeah.
here to talk about? But I never really understood acceptance or surrender. And I feel like, from an outsider's perspective, those two could be fairly tied together,
Yeah.
in some ways. And so I just lived a life of self-torture because I didn't have acceptance or surrender. And it's like, man, I am so grateful now to not be just sitting in that victim place,
Yeah.
that pity party. Like, I am so happy that that is not where I'm living day to day. And when I catch myself, guess what, man? I could see the exit door.
Yeah. I like that.
Like there was no exit door. It was like I can remember, like, I closed my eyes and I can remember something bugging me from like June to August one summer.
Mm.
And I'm just like, and using that as like, oh, can't wait to see that person because I'm going to throw this pity party. They're going to be all
Swimming
over
in
this
it.
one. They're going to
Crazy.
jump on the bus. Let's go downtown on the pity party. I'm like, I'm
Right.
sure that guy's going to drink with me over this. And that guy, it was absolutely ridiculous. And now, there can be really tough things. And I can be like, okay, can't change it. Here we are,
Good luck.
Yep.
Here we are, and that's it, and that's a massively liberating, different place to
Yes. It takes all the control away, really.
be. It just is.
Yeah, of all
It
that
literally
negativity.
turns it from bad days, months, years into bad moments.
Yeah.
Like I'm still hurt by stuff. I still get made angry by stuff, but I don't have to sit in it.
You don't
Yeah.
let it take you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's an entirely different like response time or whatever. It's like my ambulance gets to the scene of the accident quicker and gets me to the hospital. Like,
Yeah.
Playing a different game,
Yeah.
boy.
Right.
it's totally different. And I really am so grateful for that. I feel that you guys bring a lot of love into my life. I'm grateful for you guys. I was
Definitely.
stoked to come on here today and do this together
Me too,
with
man.
the three of us. I thought that, what? I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna come on this podcast and not leave feeling like
Yeah.
we just had a meal of love.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
me.
Give me that menu.
Feed me.
positive thinking is like the opposite. Like there's people who go to like the buffet, it's $5 buffet, and they want to eat $10 worth, right? And it's just, but it's like positive thinking is thinking, man, this meal's good enough.
It's a spiritual principle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It is.
it is. Yeah, positivity absolutely is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we going to do 1 minute lightning round with Andrew's question? Because I could tell he's got one.
If I said yes, we would do it, and if I said no, we would still do it. So
I know. No, then we'd use one of Brandy's.
No, I got a question. You already know. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Get the
Here we
damn
go.
timer
Bring it.
ready. Up in this
I'm ready.
All right. What do you, Brandi, tell a newcomer who says they just can't think positive?
Well, I mean, I'll repeat myself again, what I said, like, the act as if. Just if you don't think you can, but what makes you think that you can't? Like if you're so positive about the fact that you can't think positive, that was kind of a tongue twister. Just try. Just try it out, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You're gonna just end up being negative again. But I think that giving it that chance, even multiple times, it's worth it because what's the alternative? Like try to find what's positive. Think about where you were, where you want to be. That's got to bring some positivity into it. So if you fake it till you make it, if you are the type that is super negative, just pretend for one day that you're a positive person and tell me how you feel the next day.
That's dope. That's dope. You ready, Larry Leavalato?
Larry, leave a lot of
I love it.
Larry,
I love
leave
it.
a
Larry
lot.
Leavalato. How do you tell a la 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 la? How do you tell a newcomer who? What do you tell a newcomer who just can't think positively and isn't that rut? What do you tell them, man?
I'm going to say, first of all, that what you focus on becomes greater. I'm going to tell my little story about that sign because I do really believe that like you're either looking forward or you're looking backwards, right? And I just, we're not like split direction eyeballs. Anyway, and I'm going to probably invite them to one of the gratitude lists that I'm part of because then I'm going to actually see if they're trying to do a gratitude. Like I'm going to invite them to do gratitudes, you know. I'm going to definitely ask them, do you have a sponsor? Do you have a sponsor? Are you doing the steps? Because sometimes they're not going to be able to turn that mindset around until they clear out some of the shit that they're shameful for, feeling bad for, you know, and the step work is the key. It is going to help you with your spiritual awakening and to become more present.
Beautiful, man. That's beautiful. So Andrew, what do I tell a newcomer who just can't stay thinking positively? Well, young man or young lady, sit right here. Let me talk to you for a minute. I need you to understand that it's okay to live a life that most people don't understand, right? But you can't live a new reality with the old mentality, right? You got to switch it up when you come in here. You know, you gotta find peace. You got to hold on to peace because where you're coming from has been a chaotic place, and we don't know what peace is in here until we come into these rooms, right? And so focus, you know, stay clean just for today. And look, staying clean just for today. If you've been clean for an hour, that's a miracle, right? My literature tells me if you can stay clean for one day, even if it's never followed by another one, that you're doing just fine. You're living a miracle. So, you know, ambition without action turns into anxiety. So you got, you know, and what is it? Willingness without action is fantasy. Right. So there's a lot of like good shit on the front end, but you got to follow through with it. You got to put some time and effort into it and get some self-love. Like Brandi was talking about. Self-love is very important. You got to love yourself before you can love anybody else.
True.
Love you.
What a wonderful episode.
That was fun.
I feel positive. I feel stoked.
I taped it together with the lights.
You know what?
Great. You did
you know
great.
what? Like you basically got freaked out and then thought positive, and here we are.
And now I shine bright like a diamond.
You're the bright light of Virginia Beach, Superteria.
Love you guys, man. That was beautiful.
I love you guys too. So tune in next episode for more recovery fun. Bye, everybody. I love you. Please help us help others. If you like what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan South Okanagan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.